Hi students, welcome you in this chapter Respiratory System. I think I need not to tell you about the term respiration. If you are sitting in front of your computer and listening to this lecture, all this is because of respiration. And if I am telling you about this chapter, this is all because of I am respiring. So, respiration is, if we go through the definition, then respiration is an oxidation process involving the burning up of food substances in the presence of oxygen, elimination of carbon dioxide produced during the oxidation, and release of energy, some of which is stored in the high energy bonds of ATP. What is ATP? Adenosine triphosphate molecules as biological useful energy. See, you must not confuse respiration with breathing. So in physiology, respiration is defined as the transport of oxygen from the outside air to the cells within tissues and the transport of carbon dioxide in the opposite direction. So this is in contrast to the biochemical definition of respiration. Biochemical definition is, this is what I am telling you, this is the biochemical definition which refers to cellular respiration, which means the metabolic process by which an organism obtains energy by reacting oxygen with glucose to give water, carbon dioxide and ATP. So what is the difference between respiration and breathing? Let's see. You must not confuse the term respiration from breathing. What is breathing? Breathing is just the process that moves air in and out. In and out of the lungs. These are the pair of lungs. So breathing is totally different from the respiration. If you use the term breathing, it is just taking in and out of the air from the lungs. So this is breathing. So respiratory system works in concert with the circulatory system to carry gases to and from the tissues. Next is types of respiration. See, the essential feature of respiration is intake of oxygen, which is used in the oxidation of digested food. But in many instances, living processes can go on without oxygen being involved. So as such, the respiration is of following two types depending upon the availability of oxygen. So first one is aerobic respiration. See, when respiration involves the uptake of oxygen, then we call it aerobic respiration. See, it is a respiration which uses oxygen as an oxidant. So normal respiration of animals is aerobic. It involves intake of oxygen and liberation of carbon dioxide. And mitochondria are usually required in this type of respiration. See, this is aerobic respiration. What's happening in it? See, glucose after reacting with oxygen forms carbon dioxide, water and energy. So water is useful and retained in the cells, and energy released in this oxidation process is stored in the high energy bonds of ATP molecules, and carbon dioxide is poisonous, so it must be taken out of from the lungs or body. So this is aerobic respiration. Next is anaerobic respiration. In anaerobic respiration, when respiration does not involve the uptake of oxygen, then this type of respiration is called anaerobic respiration, and life in the absence of oxygen is called anaerobiosis. So it is a process of respiration which does not use oxygen in the breakdown of respiratory substrate. It often occurs in muscles where lactic acid is formed as product. Lactic acid is later oxidized aerobically in muscles and liver. Another example is erythrocytes or RBCs perform only anaerobic respiration as they do not have mitochondria. So this type of respiration is generally found in microorganisms, yeast and parasitic worms such as Taenia, Ascaris, etc. Let's see the main characteristics of anaerobic respiration. First one is, in anaerobic respiration less energy is produced. See, it is simple. See, anaerobic respiration is simple and has a few steps where a little bit of ATP is used to break down glucose to produce pyruvate, which is not very energetic on its own. So basically pyruvate can't be broken down completely without oxygen. So the body can't get all the possible ATP out of it. That's why in anaerobic metabolism there is much less energy given out. Next, Fermentation is anaerobic breakdown of carbohydrates and other organic compounds into alcohols, organic acids, gases, etc. See, in anaerobic respiration, less energy is produced. So, in microorganisms, the term fermentation is more commonly used in place of anaerobic respiration. See, fermentation is defined as the anaerobic breakdown of carbohydrates and other organic compounds into alcohols, organic acids, gases, etc. with the help of microorganisms or their enzymes. So, in microorganisms, the term fermentation is known after name of products such as alcoholic fermentation and lactic acid fermentation. Next, and fermentation happens with the help of microorganisms. Like, for example, yeast oxidizes glucose to ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide without using oxygen. In certain bacteria and parasitic worms such as Taenia and Ascaris, the end product of glucose metabolism is lactic acid without utilizing oxygen and without the formation of carbon dioxide. Next comes C. This is fermentation of glucose through yeast. See, here yeast is performing fermentation. So glucose after fermentation, glucose is converted into alcohol, carbon dioxide, and less energy is produced during anaerobic respiration. This is fermentation reaction or anaerobic respiration. Next, now differences between aerobic and anaerobic respirations. What are the main differences? Let's see. First of all, in aerobic respiration, oxygen is used, whereas in anaerobic respiration, no oxygen is used. Next, carbon dioxide is always released in aerobic respiration, whereas in anaerobic respiration, carbon dioxide may or may not be released. As you last seen in this reaction, that in this reaction where yeast is fermenting sugar, carbon dioxide is formed. But in some reaction of anaerobic respiration, carbon dioxide may not released. Like when glucose is fermented with Taenia and Ascaris, then lactic acid plus energy is formed and there is no release of carbon dioxide here. Next, aerobic respiration occurs in cytoplasm as well as in mitochondria, whereas anaerobic respiration occurs in cytoplasm only. No mitochondria is need because there is no need of oxygen in this type of respiration. Next, aerobic respiration consists of 5 steps: glycolysis, pyruvate oxidation, tricarboxylic acid cycle, electron transport system, and ATP synthesis, whereas anaerobic respiration consists of only 2 steps: glycolysis and incomplete breakdown of pyruvate. Next, aerobic respiration yields carbon dioxide and water as end products, whereas anaerobic respiration yields lactic acid and ethyl alcohol as end products. And total 38 molecules of ATP are released from aerobic respiration, which is very much higher as we compare it with the 2 molecules of ATP of anaerobic respiration. So these are the main differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration.